HD. This your boy HD. Everybody get up on the dance floor and go, and go, and go crazy. And go crazy. And go crazy. And go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. All the way from the old to LA. Go crazy like a dum-dum. Eastside homeboy, where I come from. Dance on the floor till you go numb. No fighting, no hating, no red rum. This is OOO City. All the way to the bay, hit the bass, feel me. Catch a case, cause it's beating up yo Chevy. Get you moving side to side, getting all sweaty. Make it work it, work it, work it out. Turn the volume up loud. This a draw crowd, make it all shout. Go, 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 go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Hit play on the track and I'm ready. Like a quarterback, Tom Brady. Get you all in the frenzy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. We heard the buzz and turned the club up. They tear the rugs up soon as we turn the subs up. Everybody hands high like a drug bust. Yeah, I'm from the West. Oh, don't you see the dubs up? Baptize him on the spot, fill the tubs up. Now fraternize with the flocks, tell them fill the cups up. The show though, original, the type is proto. I go, crazy, crazy, yeah, loco, it's solo. The coach and note, I represent the Ocho. Immersing together, we put the devil in the choco. Either I leave him on the mat flat out, squeeze until he black out, or when they see him tap out, they go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Go, go, go crazy. Go, go, go crazy. Go, go, go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Go, go, go crazy. Go, go, go crazy. Go, go, go crazy. All the way from the O to What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is 8:03 and 1 minute early. Oop, nope, turn 8:04. We were right on that cusp for a minute. Literally at the top. It is 8:04, and you know what that means. That means it is time for another episode of The Scoop. All right, and we are ready to go. We have already had a very busy week between the two of us, but we are so excited to share this show with y'all. We've got some uh thoughtful topics, I must say. As I was reviewing these things, I said, okay, these aren't as, there was one that I went to, but there was, as a woman, I went to, but I said, okay, I'll bite. But I'm excited about these shows that these topics that we have tonight. So get comfortable with this. It's going to be a good one. So what's up to everybody that is tuning in? I see you, Ebony. What's going on, sis? Hey. If you would, as you're coming on in the room, go ahead and tap in with your city and state, if you would, please. That is how we say our what's ups around here. We come on in and get acquainted with one another. Lets us know just how far this little old podcast reaches from week to week. You know, it ain't so little these days. So we like to see what we're doing out here in these podcast streets. So if you would go ahead and tap in with us, and that way we would appreciate it. And while you marinating down there, tapping in that city and state, go ahead and hit that share button for us if you would, and let your main line know that you're gonna hang out with the Scoop this evening. All right, you want to go ahead and chop it up with us, and you want to
let them know that they can come on over too. Tag them in, do what you got to do, but invite them on over to the conversation, because if they are your crew, we want them to be our crew as well. We are warmly welcoming them to join the Scoop crew. Okay, so go and tell them, come on in this room and chop it up with us for a few minutes. Okay, and after you do that, I think you're good. Go on and charge up and close the door. Tell the kids going down the hallway. It's your me time, so you can go ahead and tap in with the Scoop. And we also understand that you're closing the door and saying me time don't always work, so you might not be able to hold out and hang out with us the whole time. And if that is the case, Ebony, you don't have okay, well, that's all right. We understand that you can't hang out with us the whole time. That's all right. We got the good replay on lock for you. Okay, we have got multiple ways for you to catch the replay for us. Hey sis, if you are not able to stay for the entire show tonight, so go ahead and get your swipe palms ready, because Wynn's about to give you that good old graphic that I'm inviting you to screenshot. Go on and send that to the group chat and let the folks know that this is where you can catch that replay if they are not able to tune in with us on tonight. You can catch us on YouTube at The Scoop Show. You can follow us and catch the shows on Facebook at Real Scoop Show, on Instagram at The Scoop Radio Show. And if you are not able to look into our beautiful brown eyes for the show, you can tap in with us on SoundCloud. If you're working out at work, getting your walk on, getting your chill on, and just not able to get your view on, hey SoundCloud, what's up, y'all? Welcome. Glad you're here. Go on and tap in with us on SoundCloud at The Scoop Show. All right. And those wonderful topics that I was just telling you, I was gushing about, and how thoughtful and combo provoking they're going to be. We get those from y'all. We're not that deep, y'all, and we don't have that much time to social media surf. Okay, so we're just gonna be honest and transparent and give credit where credit is due. And our wonderful topics are often brought to us by you. Okay, so whenever you see a post on either my page or Wynn, and it's usually both of ours because we like to tag each other into these conversations, but if ever you see our conversations with that good old hashtag straight out the inbox, or you see the image, the straight out of the inbox, then you want to tap in. That is where we get our topics for the show. That is where we grow our audience and we get to know you all better. So as you are out here going deep down the rabbit holes, if you are getting in them comment sections for longer than you should, that break goes from 15 to 20, 25, sometimes 30. Let's just take early lunch. If that's your thread, that needs to be our thread, okay? Yeah, go on and slide in the DMs and send us that so we can get it posted and we can all get to talking about it, okay? Straight out of the inbox is the hashtag you also want to search if you are trying to catch up. It's Tuesday afternoon and you're thinking, ooh, the show is tonight. What are we talking about? Hashtag straight out of the inbox will catch you up real quick and proper like on what we could be talking about on the show. All right. Do that for us, please. And if you kind of like hanging out with the crew, you dig us a little bit, and you think more people should know about this. They should be able to do a little bit more. I want to be able to throw my hat in the support race for this here show. Okay, if that is what you are feeling in your spirit. I did sip wine before we went.
I was gonna say you laid that one on pretty thick.
Thick, because I'm feeling it. It's in my spirit. I feel like there's somebody in the room that wants to support the Scoop. Y'all, we silly. Okay, if you just like to giggle, you need to pay attention to the next little few seconds. Okay, because this is what you're gonna get. But no, the Scoop is now out here offering you three new ways for you to offer your support to us. We are out here on Patreon offering a half scoop for $5 a page, and that for your $5 a month, you will receive Patreon only updates in our private community, as well as access to our Patreon only live stream. If you want to go ahead and up that support to $10 a month for the full scoop, you can receive the same as the half scoop plus 20% off of branded merchandise, early access to our event tickets for our upcoming events for 2023, because there will be many. And if you don't want to miss nothing, you want to be involved in all of the things, don't ask me no questions, just send me the links. You want to be a part of the double scoop for $25 a month. You get all of what I just mentioned, plus a Scoop Nation shout out during our weekly show, access to double scoop only events, plus discounts to our events, as well as exclusive events such as Scoop of Sex and private interviews. So lock in, y'all. Go ahead and lock in on Patreon and show your support for the Scoop. And that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Good
Yeah.
job. How's your week? How you feeling?
Good. In here. I took off yesterday. I worked hard. I was in the shop. Yeah, I did. I know, right? Right. Ooh. Did you? Yes, I did. I worked Fridays. I was in the shop Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Thank y'all. And I did good work, and my legs hurt on Sunday night. So at 5:45 on Monday morning, I said, nope. And I sent my supervisor the PTO, and we were good. And I was at home yesterday. I went and got my eyebrows done and took my test and got me some lipstick. Got me a new red.
Okay.
That was my reward to myself for doing good work. Yeah, it's been, I'm back to work today, but it was a good day. It was good.
Okay. That's good. That's good. That is good.
I've been strongly suggested to get out of the building. I have too much PTO. She said, girl, get out of here. That was my supervisor's instruction. She was like, do something, figure it out. So I said, okay.
That's a good supervisor right there.
Yeah. She got me on up out of there. She kind of giggled when I told her, yeah, so no for today. She said, okay, I'm gonna see you tomorrow. All right. What's up, KG?
That's good. What's up, KG? Yeah, that's good. That's good. It's good supervisor.
Yep.
So cool.
How are you?
I'm tired.
Mm-hmm.
I'm super tired, but like a good tired. So, I'm in San Antonio right now. So we just finished the I Am Forgiveness to Freedom conference held by Shatoria Christian, and it was absolutely dope. Like, it was good. So yeah, Pastor Panda was all up in there. So it was good. Everybody really did good. So I'm tired now. I got a early flight to get back home, so I'm tired, but I'm good.
Yeah. I'm
super good. And then I just had a meeting obviously before this. So, we still working on this boiler stuff. And it's just we get there. It's been really cool. Even right after I got done yesterday, like a pastor called me like, "Hey, we heard about your boiler. Yeah, I heard about your boiler, and we're gonna do something at our church to help you." So
nice, come on,
folks. Is just like it's really so. Yeah, so I'm excited.
That's very exciting. That's good.
People today were like, Shatoria talked about. People at the conference were like, "Oh, sure, let me." I'm like, for real? So yeah, it was good.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. Get the boiler back in the building.
Yeah, KG. That basket was fire. I ain't gonna lie. It was fire. Very fire. So
we like goodies.
Yeah. I'm good. Yeah. You ready to get into these topics?
Let's go.
Let's see what we got. What's the first one? We got the first. Okay. All right, look at the agenda. Where's it at?
Thank you.
Where is it at?
I don't know. I sent it. I did my part.
The word be so small. So I'm like,
right.
And they all look the same.
You can't tell. That's the cold part. They do all look the same. Imagine me going through the Canva looking for the tip like, ooh.
They all look the same. Which is which? All right, here we go. So first topic is so no relationship is ever a waste. If it didn't turn out the way you wanted, it taught you what you don't want. Have you learned worthwhile lessons from failed relationships, or do you want your time back? I like the addition.
You should see me trying to come up
Go
with
ahead.
these
What's your
follow-ups
thoughts?
sometimes. I was like, you know what? Sometimes it's just gonna be Q asking the question. I just need to know. You want your time back. Some of them I have to rewrite because it's obviously me asking the question when I write them. Y'all know I write
Yeah,
all
I'm
the
like,
time. Oh my goodness. Okay.
while you answer, I gotta go grab something from the door. So keep going. I can hear
Okay,
you.
cool. No relationship is ever a waste. If it didn't turn out the way you wanted, it taught you what you don't want. I think you can learn from a situation and it also be a complete waste of your time. And you can learn to stop wasting your time. I really when I started to marinate on this one a little bit, because like from the whole evolved, deep and profound place, like yes, it's not a waste. You are going to learn something from each situation, even if it is to identify, nope, that thing does not work for me. And this isn't even just in romantic relationships. This is just in engaging with people. You can realize, no, not so much on that. But you can have that realization and still be like, you could have done without that. Like, you know what I mean? I am a firm believer in taking people's word for things sometimes and not having to personally experience a situation to be able to glean a wise word from that thing. You know what I mean? So sometimes, the lesson that we learn is you knew better than this. Like, don't do that again. Stop playing in your own face because this was unnecessary. And to me, that in itself is because that's a lesson you've already learned. You knew this about yourself. However, you're here again, allowing this to be a waste of your time. And sometimes you can go into it with a full expectation and desire to have a good thing come from this, and it be like, okay, this was stupid. I learned that this was stupid. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't think everything is I may not be that evolved. I think some folks just come in to get on your damn nerves and wish that you didn't. So, there are some folks you do wish you could just get your time back because you invest a lot more than what you receive from the situation. So is there a lesson? I don't know if it sometimes outweighs the time that you wasted. I think sometimes you could get that lesson a lot sooner. You could have got it before you invested all that extra into it.
I think a lot of this is really about perception. Like, I think if it's really, if you want to perceive it as, because I mean, you can waste your time and still learn a lesson in wasting time, but you also could learn the lesson and not waste time at the same, So I think it's really about your perception and how we want to interpret what happened or what is happening to us. So I do think that I don't think that I think every relationship is I do think every relationship is a lesson. I think some of the lessons it teaches you is just you're just really bad at choosing partners. Like
okay.
It's a lesson. Like, I'm really not good at this. I don't really need to be in a relationship at all right now. I probably need to be doing something else. And I think what happens is we don't oftentimes we don't spend that time trying to figure out what the lesson is. Or some of us are over analyzers and you try to find lessons when it's not a lesson. Right. Or you try to find something deep. Like, I gotta find some depth here because I want to feel better about the fact that I just spent 2 years with this person who is trash, and I knew it was trash in month 3, but I couldn't. And so again, the lesson that's not deep is that, listen, you just needed to let it go and you couldn't. And so You scared to be by yourself. That's just, So I think that's what I think a lot of it is the perception. I do think that some of us, even in that, have to be honest and say we wish we could get some of our time back.
Right. Because I think when I read it, I read it in the deep and profound. You're frozen for whatever reason with your hand in the preacher pose. But when I read it, I'm like, this is has the the expectation of deep and profound, and sometimes that's not it. Like the deep and profound thing is do better, sis. Like that's a self lesson. You know what I mean? And I think we like to put these types of posts up to say like what you learn. It's always like some counter move to shift it back. But this person taught me that I am too good a person to let, like I am strong, like all this other, reframe to how wonderful and awesome that we are. And sometimes no. Players up from time to time, like that was stupid. Like I should not have done that. I knew better. Or the lesson was not the sexy lesson that we like to brag about. So that's why I was like, sometimes no, you need your time back. It was not what it was.
I think am I still frozen?
No, well, I mean, it's hit or miss, but
okay. This is why you don't listen. I paid for the hotel Wi-Fi, so I can have a good one, and this is still happening. I paid the $4.95 for the good one.
Well, it's not stopping your audio, so when your visual stops, we can still hear you in real time. So I'm not gonna trip too hard. We good. You'll be back.
$4.95. It's gonna make
sure you'll come back eventually. Yeah, we just don't know.
But I think I think that's for me is usually the problem is that most of the time when we have these revelatory moments, it's always about the other person.
Right.
It's like, nope. Even if they were bad, the real question is why did you not recognize that sooner? Mm-hmm. And why were you in such a hurry to establish that this is forever? I'm gonna be forever with this person, or go in like it was forever with this person, or why were you, like you were doing this like this was forever? So I'm giving them my body, I'm giving them my money, I'm giving all of these things. You just went past all of that, and now all of a sudden, because it didn't work out, something wrong with them.
Yeah, it's them.
No, sis, it was you too. Mm-hmm. It was you too. It was you too, bro. It was
you were an active participant.
A willing participant.
Probably more active than the other, actually, from what it sounded like.
Yeah, a willing participant.
You might have been a little more active than you should have been in this situation.
Right.
Pull that back a little bit.
Yeah. So I think that is usually for me. Like I think when I have these conversations with people, it's always the other person. I'm like, so you ain't learned nothing about yourself? Mm-hmm. No, I'm good. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. KG,
wait for it to repeat.
Hey, KG, it's the truth. Truth.
Had me out here just bad.
They'll be like, they're toxic.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right, you ready? Keep going?
Yep. All
right. Oh, here it is. Okay. Sometimes the disrespect is all the closure you need. Agree or disagree? Is closure really necessary? And is this need more prominent after a negative experience? Sometimes disrespect is all the closure you need. Agree or disagree? Is closure really necessary? And is this need more prominent after a negative experience? Good question.
So, yeah, I agree that sometimes the disrespect is all that's necessary. We don't need to discuss it anymore. We don't need to have any come to Jesus. I don't need you to acknowledge or be accountable to. I just need to stop fooling with you. My fallback game is strong.
Real strong.
In this regard. Like
that was for me, by the way. Real strong is for me, not you.
It's it's accurate for me too, though. Like, I will leave you right where you are and not think nothing else about it if I feel disrespected. You're gonna have to come seek me out, like what happened before we because I'm just not. And that just is what it is. So, and I think there's levels to that, and I think there's certain levels of relationship that allow for a cutoff to happen much faster. I think when you love people, that you will allow them different levels of trying it before you will move on. But when it comes to blatant, flat out, in your face hardcore type things, oh no, I'm good. I'll give you a good leave it alone. I'm okay with that. I do think to the other question, as far as the whole closure really necessary thing, I think that we talk a lot about closure and harp on it more for our negative experiences than we do positive. If it is an amicable, we all understand, this is as a part there is no additional conversations that need to be had. We can, dap it out, lay you like a play cousin, have a nice life, everything going and everybody be merry. If it's negative, even when like there's an understood that it's ending, like after a while you will I've noticed that people will still want to, for whatever reason, after some point when like it's cooled off and certain time has passed, like can we talk about what why? I don't understand. Get that part, why that gluttony for punishment we must do to ourselves after the fact and under the guise of closure. That part I don't understand, because you don't do that in other situations, but it's only when it was like these super harmful, I'm recovering, I'm in healing stages and all of that, and right when you get in the groove, now we want to run back and say, oh, so tell me what I did again. Like, what? Like, no, like I don't see that as all that valuable.
I think to your point, why that happens, at least in the ones that I've seen, is people are typically looking for validation that whatever happened in the relationship was something that was either out of their control or was not their fault. And so they're going back trying to, like, or they realize they really messed up, and if they're apologizing, if the purpose is apologize. But if it's like, hey, what happened, it's usually to try to, or to get closure, it's usually like, I need to validate the fact that I'm trying to figure out who I am, and that it doesn't say anything negative about me that this relationship ended the way, or what happened in the relationship actually happened. I think when I've seen people are trying to figure that out, instead of like for their healing, they're trying to say like, make it make sense, because I don't really know at this point how to see myself in the context of what happened in this relationship.
Yeah, but seeking that out from the person who in ways did you harm, or you aren't, because if you come into that conversation with the understanding that I need you to tell me what I didn't do wrong to make this be, because I agree with you, that is probably the mindset going into that, make this okay for me. But putting that weight on the person who essentially said this was not okay for them,
who harmed you?
Like, that is a setup for more harm. Like, I don't understand why. Let's stop that. That doesn't make, that's what therapy is for.
But that's what we're doing. We're actually, you're absolutely.
But your
right.
exes are not your therapists. That's not how that's supposed to work. Yeah.
And to expect that now that the situation is calm, or time has passed, that now we're able to have this grown-up talk. I mean, and sometimes it happens, but the reality is the fact that if you need it, I think it's more problematic than anything else. Like, if you can have it and it happens, that's fine. If you need to go back and apologize for something that you did, okay. But to need to apologize for the sake of you feeling good about what you did, or to go back and want to rehash the relationship, just because you need to feel better about yourself, to me, says more about your insecurity than about anything else. And I think we got to be honest with ourselves that 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 really, when a person disrespects you, they tell you how they feel and they about you, and to not bring closure affirms to them that you agree with how they feel about you. And so I think we just have to be honest with ourselves. Like, the fact that this person doesn't value me enough to not disrespect me, that says all I need to say.
Mm-hmm.
And so I need to walk away. And that's the closure. The closure is, I care enough about me to not continue to sit myself in spaces where disrespect happens. And if I address it, you would continue to have it. So sometimes you just gotta say, like, all right, I'm good. It's not gonna happen, and I'm good. And I don't really need it to happen because I'm good. I do like, also, I want to say this. You said earlier that there are dimensions to this, or that there's levels to it, because if we really love somebody, we'll let them they get a little bit more past. I think that's true, but I think we also have to also recognize that if we care for somebody, then the disrespect actually hurts worse, because there's not only do we give them more space, but there's a greater expectation that they will value us. So the impact of the disrespect is deeper, and the recovery from the disrespect could be longer because of the value that we placed on that person and the relationship we thought we had with that person. So I think
it runs out. It can run out. Absolutely. And I think that's the culprit. That's the thing that people, take for granted. And because of those things that you just said, when it hurts deeper, it hurts worse. It takes longer to recover from. And each time it happens, because you granted this pass, it adds, yes, you're not only doubting that person's love for you, but now you questioning, how smart is it that you keep allowing this person back in to do this to you just on the strength of the thing that don't really feel all that strong when it really come down to it. Mm-hmm. You're the only one that finds it as strong as it is, because this person keeps showing up to do the thing. Like, so yeah, there are levels to it, but those are very special levels that should not be manipulated. That is not to be taken lightly, that you've been granted a level. It's almost more weight when you've been granted a level. Like, for some folks, I want you to keep me as a stranger. Keep me right here with everybody else. Don't move me nowhere, because I am not equipped to show up to any of them.
The way that you move.
Yes. Leave me right here with everybody else. Yes.
And that's a worthwhile conversation to have with somebody, when you recognize that, like, hey, you have an expectation, I've had to tell people that, I tell people that all the time. You have an expectation, like, people have this expectation, some people, that when they answer, when they call, I'm supposed to answer. Hey, unless you my mama, my daddy, my sister, my woman,
you might have to hold, please.
I might not answer.
Yeah.
You might have to send me a text, wait till I respond, because I don't have the capacity to be that for everybody. And I think people need to know that. And it doesn't mean I love you any less. Like, I have an uncle who calls me, and I just be like, I ain't got time today. Love him dearly,
but can't.
He call me 3 or 4 times back to back, and I finally be like, stop calling me. I'm busy. I will call you when I can. And when I can, might be 2-3 days later. And it doesn't mean I don't love him any. It's just that I have a responsibility to my kid. I have a responsibility to my mom, to my dad. Like, I have other responsibilities that they get bigger parts of me.
Right.
And it's just the reality. That's just the capacity that I have. And I have to tell, like, don't expect me to do that.
Sometimes how we always talk about how we wish people came with, like, their warning labels, like their caution stickers and stuff like that. Like, we should have, like, instructions. We should have warning labels. And when, like, those, like, in those cool, futuristic movies, when you see the people and like you get all the stats and stuff, like I would very much like it for when you're interacting with someone, you see like where you rank. Like if I'm coming in thinking I'm at a 2, and all of a sudden I'm seeing I'm ranking up here in the 5s. Whoa. Hold up. Didn't realize I leveled up. Let's or in the same capacity, because I've been on the other side of that, where I'm thinking I'm at a 5 and a person has really got me down here at a 2, and that also sucks. Like, and it sends you, if you are a person who really, really valued this faux 5 space, because obviously it's not true. I'm gonna call it what it is. It's a faux 5 space in this person's life, and you were happy to be there, really trying to make yourself accessible and accountable and willing to, stretch to be there, and then realize, no, homie, like, don't bring that. 2 is where I need you to be.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. But in reality, that's healthy boundaries.
So
healthy boundaries, though. I mean,
you have to be thankful for it after the fact, but having that type of transparency, because we don't have those conversations. We can say that here. Oh yeah, it's a valuable conversation, and it is if we were to have them. It's a very small percentage of people who are that raw with each other, or that raw of a person, raw in the best sense, where they can be that kind of truthful, and it's just their way of working, and they hold those people in their lives to that level of expectation. Hey, this is how I roll. This ain't gonna work, or it is gonna work, and it just is how it is. That's a gift, but that's not the reality for most people. So, I think that would be a cool, if I could put that out for Zuck when we do the next Oculus. Can we put the levels? Can we get an empathy meter or whatever, like, so we can get level?
Level 2. Level. I gotta level up. Oh, hold on. Let's go back down. Inbox you like, hey, take me back down to level 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can.
No, I get that. So what KG says is I have a very high opinion of myself. So usually the feeling of I messed up fades away after a month or 2.
So you don't even care no more after that. It's good. We're good.
I think it depends on what I did. Like if I did something really bad, I do. I care. I feel deeply, so I carry it for a while. But if it's like, something I don't think is that serious, then I can move on.
I will move right on along.
I have literally apologized to somebody before about how a relationship went, and then I thought about it and was like, "No, you're the problem."
You say, "You know what? Upon further thought."
I've done that too. Sometimes the apology needed is almost people are admitting to what they did wrong, and sometimes not getting that closure for yourself. That's an issue also. Yeah. I mean, I think, I agree. Like I said, I think sometimes we have to be honest that we're going to have to get closure a different way, because we're not going to get an apology.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Not going to happen. I think in most times, to be honest, I think most of the time we're not going to get an apology. I think the apology is actually not the norm. So.
Right. Yeah. The best thing you can do is change behavior, whether that be in you or the people that you engage with, and take your lessons from that and move on. I just that part's lost on me. I get it, and at the same time, I can't get with it. Like, I guess that makes sense. I can get it, but not get with it.
You understand it, but
yeah, like I do. I understand why some people could see value in that, but at the same time, like, that true restoration is not going to be with the person who caused that harm. Whether if it's something that needs to be healed, then how are you going to find? And if it's a change behavior that you need to have, you bringing yourself back. If that person reaches out to you requesting that apology, okay, fine. Or at the end of the thing, they said, oh, so you're not going to apologize? Like, if there was a need for the apology and you didn't give it, there's a possibility that reaching back out to offer could be valuable. But at the same time, that's really selfish if you did the harm and are now coming back after this person has already started their steps of healing. And then now here I want to come, oh, you remember that real terrible thing that I did that you're still in process of healing from? Yeah, my bad. And then, like, the likelihood that is it really going to be a genuine, like, is it going to be apology for the things that you were really harmed for? And are you, that you really harmed them? And are you going to be grown enough to
Yeah.
hear them. If they counter with, no, that's not what I'm owed an apology for. You actually did da 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 da. If you haven't come to grips with the da 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 da, so what? You gonna go back and forth with this person about what you really gonna like?
Absolutely, that's what we're
What's
gonna
the value in that? You know what I mean? I'm like,
That's
that
what
is
we're gonna do.
because that is the thing that you're opening this whole noble effort up for. And for what? When you could just literally go on with your lives and just be better people. Both of you. Like just go be better.
I really think that I was reading something today on Psychology Today or something talking about the right and wrong ways to apologize. And it was talking about, the I'm sorry, but. And I think when you were saying that, I thought about that because I think part of what happens is when we need this closure, that what winds up happening is the person, like we find out that the story that we have in our mind of what happened, the other person has a totally different story. And now, to your point, now we're really trying to just argue about the facts and what's the truth, and often find out that neither of us have the truth, and neither of us really know, have our experience of that situation was so different that, first of all, it might give us a reason as to why the communication was bad, as an example, but it really just shows us the fact that like nothing really is going to get resolved because you're expecting me to apologize for something that I think that you did to me. I apologize. Why are you expecting an apology from me when you're the one that harmed me? And I just responded to what you did to me. And you're like, no, you harmed me. And I responded to.
Now we gaslighting, repissing people off. We getting kicked out the restaurant. Like, what are we doing here? Now we back in a relationship. We broke up already. Like, what is this?
Yeah. So I think that's part of the problem. So I think you have to sometimes just say, you know what? I gotta move on.
I'm good, love. Enjoy.
Yeah. Daphne said, the but negates everything that was said before it. For example, I'm sorry for hurting you, but ... At that point, just keep the apology. Yep, absolutely. 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 I had to learn that one the hard way.
I think we all do. We all have to get that. I don't think anyone learns apologies right the first go around.
Yeah, because you want to protect yourself.
Yes, we're human. We have to learn that.
True. Like that's a vulnerable. I think we also got to be honest that apologies, when done in a genuine way, are a very vulnerable thing to do. And so, because of the vulnerability and humility that it takes to give a sincere apology, there's a natural protection that kind of kicks in because we really don't know how the other person is going to respond. So I think we also have to be aware of that too. So,
Yep.
All right. Listen, I knew tonight it was going to be quick, right? We moving through these kind of quick.
It's only like 4 of them in the first place, so we're good.
Just fine because I'm tired.
Listen, with that early flight, I'm about ready to. Yeah, when you said that, I'm.
Yeah, let's say 4:15. Yeah, my Uber gets there at 4:15.
Too early.
Yeah.
Save it. If you sincerely have a butt, KG, save it for after the apology has been done and you all are to the conversation stage. Because it's going to be a space where you all can chat about how we got here in the first place. Like, where did we get to this point? But in the midst of trying to get there, the butt is not necessary. That's
not the time.
It's not the time.
That's not the time for it. It's not so much that the butt is not important. It's just that it's inappropriate in the moment. Because this moment is about the apology. Right. So let's deal with the apology, and later on we can deal with that part. Is what I think.
And your butt is often heard and understood much more throughout that follow-up conversation than it would be in the midst of you taking care of me. Because that's essentially what the person is thinking. This is supposed to be for me. And now all of a sudden we're turning this back around on how this is now for you. And in a relationship, when it comes to apologies and harm, if that's the basis of what it is, harm not necessarily being intentional or like physical or anything like that, but a thing that needs to be apologized for, it is very much, yes, this thing is about me because it is a thing that you've done. So it is a cause and effect. You have affected this thing. So the response to that is your apology. And that is supposed to be solely to restore me. It should not, you shouldn't gain anything but happiness for the fact that you have made this thing right. And now, because it's been done well and right and with love and a place that covers all the bases, as the person who's recipient of that apology, doesn't mean immediately, but because I'm a marinate on this, I'm gonna see where it came from, I'm gonna realize that this came from love, and then we can come back and discuss what was done, how we got here, because you love me. I didn't think that you really meant to harm me in the first place, if that was even the result. So let's talk about how this person who loves, how we got here from a loving place. And then through that discovery, I might have messed up. I could have triggered that. Ugh. You know what, babe? I'm sorry for that. I messed that up. I won't do that again. That is how that conflict resolution can happen. And of course, that's, very withdrawn. I'm from, that's from an observant space, but like without the emotion attached to it, that is essentially the makeup. That is the breakdown of how that could go, and where everyone could feel whole after a conflict.
Yeah. Agree. So his question, so if I feel wrong, I have to apologize first. You're not apologizing. No, that's not what we're saying. You're apologizing for the wrong that you did. So if you were wrong and your response was wrong, you're apologizing for your response. And what we're saying is, don't say, I'm sorry for my wrong response, but if you had this, I only said that because you said such and such and such and such, which triggered me to go like, no,
Right.
no, don't do that. Just, hey, my response was wrong. I should not have said that to you, period.
Yep.
In that moment, and then at another moment, hey, listen, when you said such and such to me, that really triggers me, and we need to work on that. Yep. So you address that in a separate discussion, not in the same discussion. So that way, now it doesn't look like, because the way that comes off, learn it the hard way again, is that it comes off as if you are not trying to take accountability for what you did.
Yep.
And that you're putting blame on the other person, even if there is blame, but nobody, like the reality is, as adults, no one forces us to do something. We make a decision to do it. So we're holding ourselves accountable for what we decided to do or what not, what we decided what not to do. That's what we're saying. So, so I ain't there. And that's hard.
And I think that's fair. That's fair. It's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, very fair. It's a very fair thing. Again, learned it the hard way. And it took me a couple years. And I remember, like, me and Q had several conversations, like, but I said, but you can't say that. And it finally dawned, like, okay, I got it now. And completely changed the dynamic of those conversations, because now I've got to, because now I've got to realize that, listen, now that person is more open to me because I was willing to take responsibility for me. So in that moment, they ain't trying to hear. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You're hurt. Yep. So when I'm hurt, I feel the need to be heard, or I feel dismissed, and here comes the but. Yep.
Well, see, that's why I feel, and I know we got to move on, but I also feel like apologies shouldn't be immediate. I think apologies need to come after a timeout is had and you know what you're apologizing for. Because at that point, you've had a time to marinate on, okay, that pissed me off. Like, I did not like that they said XYZ thing or did XYZ thing, and I'm going to need them to not do that again. And then as you're playing through that, you realize, okay, but I did say, like, I went below. I said some things that I don't want to say to this person that I love. Like, I know that my response to this thing caused me to do a thing that only escalated this situation. At that point, we're in a way dealing with separate situations.
Absolutely. That's exactly.
You now need to still be accountable for however your emotions are. You still acted upon those things. That is still your responsibility. How and who and what, all that can be hashed out after the fact. But if this is a person that you love, even though this person has hurt you and there's hurt and harm in this situation, if there plans to be some type of restoration, it's not really always a matter of who does it first.
Right.
It's often a matter of just who opens the door to do it, so that we can get closer to what happened. You know what I mean? Because like I said, at the root of both sides, I would hope there's love there and an understanding that this is a situation rooted in a very specific set of details that caused us to act out of character. We need to figure out what that thing is so we don't manipulate that again and cause more harm. Exactly. So like, who does the apology is so small but so big at the same time. Like, who does it first and who get it done and get it done from the core so that you can move on to the good stuff. I think that's, and it's hard. I
like how you said that.
It's hard, but
I like how you said that it's so small but it's so big. I like how you said that, because I do think
harp on that. You know, who's gonna do it first? Just do it. If you want it fixed, just do it.
I think that becomes difficult. So I'm thinking in context, like the relationship context, when it feels like this is becomes consistent. Like when I am, like to KG's point, if I consistently feel unheard or dismissed, then my desire or my, this is how I talk to myself. My leadership, because I recognize, I've said this, like I feel like there's no place in my relationship I don't have to lead. So including being the first one to apologize. So if and this is how I talk to how to treat myself. So if that means that I have to humble myself in order to make this happen, but if I'm consistently feeling like I'm being dismissed or being unheard, the desire to want to do that lessens and lessens, even though I know it's the right thing to do, because I don't even know if this is still going to get us to a point where we're better, where you hear me, where you stop doing whatever the thing is that makes me feel dishonored or disrespected. So now I have to make this decision between, do I do the right thing or do I do the thing that protects me and stops making me feel like I'm losing pieces of who I am because you refuse to grow the hell up and just apologize for what you did.
Right.
So I think that's where KG is. So, and I just want to acknowledge that I understand what he's saying. But still, you got to be like, but if I don't do it, and if I don't do this, there's a strong possibility we're never going to get to a solution. So let me go ahead and do this.
And that still goes back to the almost to the post from before. Even that can wear on a person. So that's not even us saying, well, that ain't me saying, I don't know what we ain't gonna say because different circles, but there's a point where that can get to be a lot as well. So fully seeing that perspective. KG. Yeah. If that is what you meant. I was taking it in a single argument perspective, but yeah, if it is a consistent repetitive type of situation, yes. Those apologies get bigger. It's not so small when that's often, when with those variables in place.
Yep. So I just wanted to acknowledge the humanity in it, because I see, as I thought about it, I'm like, there's definitely another, like we can say all day long, well, just forgive him and move on. Apology and move. Sometimes you be like, damn, an apology. I did it the last 15 times.
Yeah,
this is
your turn.
It's your turn to apologize. Man,
I'll be sorry when you sorry, but I'm not sorry right now.
Like, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to tell you I'm sorry because I was sorry the last few times and you didn't respond the right way. So,
hell, I'm always sorry. I don't want to be sorry right now. Maybe I'm not sorry. Maybe I shouldn't be sorry. Like, maybe that's the problem. I'm sorry all the time. Like, But that's how we get folks to start to. That's how you get people who are like, "What happened? Like, who are you?" Because hey, what I was doing wasn't working, so I'm doing what you do.
Switch it up. Yeah.
Not saying we suggest that, but it's human if that's what happens.
Humanity.
Like we understand if that happened. You are seen if that is your situation.
No, we are here.
All of the things, what's it? Hunger Games, Wakanda. All of them.
What's the Hunger Games? That one is I can forget.
Which one? I'm all of them. All the
Hunger
tribes.
Games. The Hunger Games. Whatever.
I yes, may the odds be ever in your favor, baby. Oh shit!
It's hot in here now. All right, I'm gonna turn the air down. All right, I feel like half the girls who are single right now are wife material, and no one their age knows how to handle such a great package. Is this true? Are the single ladies in a league of their own? Is this the one that you look crazy?
Hell yeah! If you could have seen how many times I had to backspace that white space to get a decent question about. You know your sister side-eyed the hell out of this. I said, wait, what?
I said, look, when I read this, I said, single lady wrote this one.
Man, or what was it? What Derek Jackson ass Negro?
You know what? I'm gonna say, you know what? Who I like, but who I had to get a side out the other day. I had to get, what was his name? Ace Metaphor. I actually like a lot of the stuff that he does. But he said I was watching stuff the other day. I was like, I sounded real Derek Jackson ish. Like
Jackson-esque.
And what was the other one? I said, you've been watching Tony Gaskins or something. What are you doing? No.
As a woman, I was like, I know us. Like, we ain't out here like, listen, I love the ladies. I am team what we own right now. Like, we are doing some amazing things. We are healing. We are growing. We are getting the bag. We are all of the things. And I'm here for it.
Me too.
However, MF and comma. Ladies, don't make this one your screensaver. Okay, we are not done yet. Okay, we are in progress, but there is still a lot of things that we need to work on. We have got some, because we have and everybody still needs work, like, period. I could end my comment right there. However, I have realized with myself, my peers, and from an observation of us as a whole, with all of the awesome that we are engaging in and, you know, going hard in, because that progression is coming so quick and so fast, and the rewards are being reaped at such beautiful paces in so many ways. For as much as we can say women are losing, like, we have got to acknowledge the beautiful ways that we are winning.
Absolutely.
Because we like to see that beauty. It is keeping a lot of our core work, the behind the scenes stuff, the stuff that we don't get to apply for, promote, share, do all of the things out loud for. Those things are getting pushed further and further to the back. And it's showing up in these situations, because for as much as the men have their work to do, there are many men who have been also doing work with us. Just because women started working and making a lot of noise doing their work does not mean that there was like all the men stopped. Even in the midst of men, you know, when before all of this wonderful girl power thing happened, there was still a good number of men doing good work. So like the whole thing that we've sold ourselves that like the only people being productive are female right now kind of got us out here wrong. Okay, loud and fine, but wrong. And we need to, and we got to own that. There is a lot of reasons why some of us are single, and while we are marriage material in the making, if we're gonna go from like everybody depends on what material you want to make your dress out of, you know what I mean, when it really come down to it. But if we're gonna go off of the trademark traditional things, if you know, successful, you got your money together, you got your all of these things, you know, we also want to spend some time on all of those under the roof things that are really going to bring a relationship along. We've got some progress, but we have not quite yet broke that ribbon.
I think where we have to like, I'm all for the first half of this. Half the girls are wife material. I would actually probably agree with that. But I think that where we mess up is, first of all, is the assumption that wife material means you don't have some great areas that there needs to be work in progress in. You can be wife material and still be problematic. You can be wife material and still be emotionally immature. You can be wife material and still not know how to be a good partner. You could be wife material and still have some serious things that you need to work on. I'm fine with that. It's the no one knows how to handle such a great package part that it's like, no, people, most men, to be, if we don't know how to handle a great package, when we realize that you are a great package, we'll do what we can to figure it out. Many of us will be like, if we realize that you're the great package, that you're the person who we need to partner with, you're the person that we can't let get away, most of us will be like, let me get my stuff. Let me hurry up, try to get my stuff together. Let me do what I got to do, because I cannot let this one get away. And so I think we have to honor that sometimes it's not so much that you don't know how to that men don't know how to handle such a great package. It's just that, are you putting yourself, number one, are you putting yourself in position? I don't even like the word to be handled, but are you putting yourself in that position? Are you actively in spaces where the men who you want to be able to handle you are present? Are you, like, there's a whole lot of other reasons. Let's look at it just from a strictly a numerical aspect. Do we recognize that there are really just a whole lot more men than there are women? Like, there's a lot of reasons why this could, that it might just
more women than there are men right now. There's
more women than men, excuse me. Yeah, could it just be that it's a timing issue? Like, there are a lot of things that could be why you haven't been wifed. And none of those should diminish the work that you're doing and the worth that you have for yourself. You are still a great woman, you're still a great person, and you can still be a great woman and a great person and still have a lot of work that you need to do.
Yep.
Like, I think we just gotta own that and not allow our relationship status to determine how great of a package we are.
Yep. Because you can have all the attributes. Like, silk is a beautiful fabric, but if you don't know how to manipulate silk as a seamstress, you're going to destroy it.
Yep.
That you can have beautiful material, but if you do not know how to put that thing together, you are going to destroy that beautiful fabric.
Yep. You stupid. Get you a short king, a man under 6 feet. Oh, my man. 7 of me agrees with him. I believe that the stat is 80% of women compete for 20% of men. So I think that's why there's a lot of single women right now. It's a part of it. I would say that is definitely a part of it. And I don't know if it's 20% of men, but I do know that there is a section of the male population that recognizes that it is at the top. And so I agree.
But in the realm of the world, 80 and 20% are like huge numbers. So I think a lot of us need to also, as women, realize that 20% of men, that's 20% of men everywhere. If we are only basing ourselves in our one area that we feel comfortable, hoping that our husband is going to find us, like us staying put is going to help him find us. Like he got he dropped the pin. God dropped the pin in his brain and he on his way, sis. You just got to stay put. Girl, you don't book that damn flight and put your pin somewhere else for a little bit and get access to another 2% of the 20 that you've been dipping. Like you are literally of the 20. If that's the number we're gonna ride out with in our little home area, you are in 1.2% of the 20 in your one little home spot.
Right.
If you don't travel, you don't go nowhere, you don't go anywhere new, you don't go anywhere by yourself. You go with 15 other women every time you go somewhere. You're bringing everybody like. Strategy, sis. Strategy.
Yep. And again, doesn't mean you're not great. It just means
you got to do something different.
I mean, again, because good dudes are looking.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. They looking for you just as bad as you looking for them. So like, if they ain't nobody looking where you at, go look somewhere else. I don't understand. So many women are set on staying stuck somewhere, hoping that he just gonna show up in the spot that you've been all your life, and then here he come. Maybe not. Maybe you might need to give the folks in your hometown time to miss you. So when you come back, oh, where you been? If he is at home, maybe you need to go away sometime for a while, come back. And he might remember, oh, yeah, that is my bae. Like, I don't know. I'm shooting in the dark here, but what we doing from the way the post is posted, it ain't working.
Sometimes also you just have to be. Like, I think the other thing is that I see a lot of ladies who are trying to overprove how good they are, and it's not like a pick me type thing, but it's a I want you to see my worth type thing that comes off at times as a pick me thing. And so I think sometimes you just gotta like be and let us see you being, and be like, that's her.
A woman enjoying her life is attractive as hell, as any man.
A woman who's enjoying her life. I said this. A woman who's enjoying her life and functioning well in the thing that she does is sexy. I don't care what nobody says. I'd be like, Ooh, you killed that presentation. Like, man, you whatever you do, like that is attractive. Why you think we like women in scrubs? It's just like it's not the pants. It's watching you do what you do is like, man, that is attractive. To see you do it. Well, a woman doing what she do. Like, so sometimes you just have to be and like be good at it, and like we watching.
If you build it, they will come.
We're watching. I can promise you, men are watching. Men who we're watching. So,
I believe that to be true.
Yeah. All right.
Hey sugars, have you heard about the Blocked and Beautiful Braid Balm from Elegance by Design? The days of braids being weighed down by heavy products that don't hold are over. Blocked and Beautiful Braid Balm is perfect for box braids, updos, and the most intricate of braid styles. Let your creative juices flow, knowing Elegance by Design has your braids on lock. Order yours now at elegancebydesign.com.
Listen, I put that braid bomb to work this weekend. Work. And it got down through there. Okay. Pictures to come because tired, but work was done. EleganceByDesign.com or the Back to My Roots Exchange. You can go and get that in stock, ready to roll.
Okay. All right. You want to do? Let's go ahead and
Yep. All right. So tonight we are talking about. I always like it when things start with research finds. I always think cite your source, then. You know what research? But anyway, we came across this little ditty here that says, research finds that for women, romantic relationships with more equity, examples, balanced power, divided chores, predict higher levels of sexual desire for their partners. It's hard to keep desire up when you feel you put more into your relationship than received. Do you agree or disagree with this research? Is this a result of economic and social shifts, or has it always been this way? Let's chat. What you think, Fred?
First of all, cite your sources. Now I'm kidding. I mean, it's a reality. I'm interested in where this research came from. But so my first thought was, yeah, I mean, I could see that. I could see that in a relationship that you felt like that you felt valued, that your desire to be sexually intimate would be greater. Like, to me, that it just makes sense. Like, I think that men and women who feel fulfilled outside of sexual intimacy are more willing to do. Yeah. I think that's I think where this becomes difficult is the part that said when you feel like you put more into your relationship. So I think that's where where in a lot of relationships it becomes problematic, because a lot of times the weight that we put on our part of the relationship, we tend to value that or put more weight on it because we're the ones doing it over what the other person is doing, and the other person is doing the same thing. So you're feeling like you're putting more work into the relationship. And I'm just using traditional gender roles and not use this example because you're making more money, but she feels like she's putting more into the relationship because she's making sure the kids get what they need. She's doing the cooking, the cleaning, the domestic things that for traditional roles that women would do. So I think that that's where it becomes problematic, because instead of being able to say, hey, like putting equal weight on what both are doing and both figuring out ways how both can help support, encourage the other, that now we're like, you don't care about me because me for money, and you don't care about me because you just using me, and you don't value what I do. So I think that's where it becomes difficult in relationships to try to determine a value or a feeling, when you're determining a feeling of your value and worth inside of the relationship based on what you do and not equally weighting what the other person does.
No, that's good, because I think that is often we don't it doesn't seem as though the conversation about what these things weigh, so to speak, or the value of them before there's an issue. Like at the beginning of a relationship, or when the new baby arrives and roles move, or things shift and there's a transition that makes things different than the way that they were, or there's more responsibility in one way or another. Like if something changes, we often just kind of roll with it, as opposed to sitting down and really discussing what this costs the person, what this actually looks like to this person's day. I don't know what you do when you go to work and what that takes out of you, what type of engagement, what type of interact, what that does for you. And I don't know what that leaves you with when that brings you home. Let's talk about that.
Mhm.
What out of 100%, about what do you have left on a Monday through Friday when you come in? Okay,
Mhm.
what can we do? If you've got 40% left of your 100%, I don't need 20% of your 40%. I'm not trying to drain you. Can I get 10 of that to help with da 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 Monday through Friday?
Mhm.
And I will leave you be, because my day consists of, I wake up before you, I take the kids, I make the lunches. If they forget something, I'm running back. And during the day, in this 4 or 5 hours before someone needs something, or I got to be somewhere else, I got to do groceries, da 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 da. So all of these things are also happening within this day to make our lives happen. So this is where I'm at. When you come through the door, I'm also at around 40%. So
Right.
between the two of us, we got a good 20 left to spread throughout the rest of this evening for whatever else is left.
Right.
Like, those aren't the conversations that we have with each other. So we get into situations where now we're battling for our 10% when our people are asking for the 20 that we got left. And now it's like, well, my 10 is more important than your 10, and you didn't know what my 10 was doing. Like,
I think it's that, and I think the other thing that happens is when you say, you described the typical traditional woman of a wife,
mhm,
that man will say, I don't see how you doing that takes that much out of you. And I think that vice versa, that some ladies are looking at, well, but you at work and you having fun. Like,
mhm,
I've actually
mhm.
heard women say that, but you're at work having fun. Well, I'm home with the, and vice versa. I've heard men like, but you at home with the kids playing all day.
Right.
And you think that, like, you're comparing that to me having, and I think, so that's why, again, it comes back to, even if we're having those conversations, are we valuing the contribution of the other person the same as our contribution, or is the value the same as they value it? Because if I'm saying I'm coming home with 40%,
Mhm.
you're saying then I need you to honor that. And I need, when you say the same thing, then I need to honor that that's really where you are, instead of looking at you like,
You know you ain't got 40%. Right.
you've been
Mhm.
sitting around this house eating, watching TV all day. I ain't got a chance to watch TV at all.
Mhm. Mhm.
Or you've been out the house all day and you ain't had to deal with it. Like, I think that's where it can also become problematic, because we don't see, like, we don't believe the person really is at the percentage that they're saying they are, because now, again, my need is not met. And so because my need is not met, or you're asking me to do more, then I don't know. I don't really value what you're saying.
Right.
I don't
Right.
value it.
Yep.
I think we just
And
have to be honest about that.
and I think now that is becoming, as households are less traditional, meaning either both parents are working and we got to work it out where we got to figure this thing out because we both got we got a full-time job to balance, or especially after Corona and COVID and all this, and a lot of men are home and women are working. So now, like, the thing has shifted. Either both are working,
Right.
or he's home and she's out, and now she's understanding what a full day of engaging
Yep.
and having to be
Yeah.
peopling and accountable, and put your face on for all the
All day.
yes, okay, you know
Yep.
what I mean, where she might have been used to, because I said it and I'm mom and do what I said, like I run this, and now you don't really run it the same. That is different. So
Yeah.
now you might have a little more understanding for that 40%, because you might be running with a hot 30, because what is this? I don't know what this is. You know what I mean? And that's hard. And then we're not going to forget about Papa Bear, who is now flipping the script, and he's doing lunches. And Daddy, I forgot my backpack. And I got practice. And but I'm over here. And no, Daddy, this is the right place. I'm supposed to be over here. And my play date is with Katie, not Kathy. And wait, hey,
None of that.
take a nap. Like, and Daddy come on, he's sleep. Baby on the floor, he sleep. They got candy and snacks all over the floor because I don't know how you do it, babe. I'm going to bed. We had
I'm done.
cereal. Like, I ordered something. It's on its way. I don't remember. Like, we need that. That's how that happens, because we really don't. We don't have an understanding for what our others do when we're not there. We don't know what makes all of the thing work. But the thing that I think we have to really start to reframe this conversation, because we often, I think, get so distracted by sex in this situation. And I'm honestly proud of us that we haven't even really touched that level of this question just yet, because that is often it's a big factor, but it is sometimes such a huge distraction for the real care that needs to take place within the relationship. And that understanding of what it goes into the other's day and what it depletes from them, also what it adds to them. Because when you come home and reduce my work to playing with kids and watching television, I don't feel real sexy. Being real 100, that doesn't make me feel sexy. And him, who is chucking and jiving and smiling and hitting the meetings and breaking the bread and doing all the things, and for you to come home and tell him that, for him to come home and you tell him, well, you just hanging out with your buddies and doing all the things, and I wish I could, if only I would ever. And he like, all right,
you just diminish what I do.
Got it.
Especially if I don't like it.
And all of this is for you in the first place. Like, I'd rather not, but here we are, and this is how you feel. So nobody feels real sexy if everyone is feeling obligated to do one more thing for the other person, when you haven't even acknowledged the things that I'm really working hard to do for us.
Mm-hmm.
You aren't in relationship with a person for them to be in service to you.
Mm-hmm.
You are in relationship with a person to build life, to bring peace and enjoyment and together and growth and all of that good stuff for both of you. If you want in service, you go hire somebody.
Right.
You don't go marry somebody.
Right.
Those two things aren't the same.
I heard David Burris say something. He said that one of the mistakes that we make, he was referring to men, but I think that this is also applicable for women. Mm-hmm. He said is that a lot of times men get frustrated because they expect their wife to respond. He said they're forever to respond like a fan does, and a fan only responds when you're winning, whereas your forever is present where you're winning or losing. And I think that's what you're hitting on, is that there is just a different there's a different space or a different expectation for the person who you're doing forever with, for them to have a different level of empathy, of compassion, of respect, of honor for what you do, of care for what you bring to the team. And so when that's not happening, it's very difficult to not forget sexy, but even just to feel the desire to want to come home or to stay home or to perform, just to be nice to each other. You know what I mean? Take that extra thing it takes just to be nice when you don't feel like being nice. Like, just even getting into that space. And we ain't talking about the sometimes the energy that's necessary to have sex. It's like I'm just trying not to cuss you out right now.
Right. You want me to be naked? Like, and then act like I like it?
Like I want to stab you in your ear right now.
Yeah. And men are feeling more and more like that too. So like, that's why women are also, that's why in the comment, the post before, I was like, we're going to have to, at some point, we're going to have a reckoning with everyone's show up. You know what I mean? Because of the shifts that have taken place, men are starting to identify and have a much more sound understanding with a lot of what women have been saying for a while.
Sure.
Women and same thing. So I think it is where it's another reason why we're having such a different understanding about the emphasis of sex, and how some folks are like, there's more to it than that. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, we're putting, it's not the thing that we're making it, or why are we focused so much here when there's all this other stuff that can make it so much better if we just focus a little bit more here. There's bigger fish to fry. It's important, but we put a lot of emphasis on getting to the thing when we have really neglected the thing that makes that easy. You know what I mean? So, and now, because of all of the transition, the forced transition that has happened, it's made it so you can't deny that we got to deal with this stuff.
I also think that too is that we don't, I don't want to say this. I think that I agree with you that the things that lead up to it that make it easy, we're focusing more on. Mm-hmm. But I think that's what I'm saying. I think that we don't necessarily, as men, believe that those things do make it easier, because because until we met you, I'm using again David Burris, our forever, the fans didn't make us do any of that stuff.
So it's a new learning. It's a new
now, it was like, because in that phase it was just what we did, and it was what you gave me, and now wait a second, now it feels like that's why you hear a lot of men like, I feel like I have to work for it. And my expectation was that that it would get easier when I married you, not that it would get harder. But and the reality is, again, now you're in a totally different phase of who we are, and just like there's an expectation for us that sexual intimacy becomes a regular part of what we do, there's also an expectation for you that there is that other things that lead up to them are an expectation. So then you don't get what you need, and you withdraw, and then we're not getting, and which causes us to not get what we need. So we're withdrawing, and we're both standing there going, but the thing that we need that you have, why are you withholding it from me, instead of giving me what I thought that I was signing up to get when I got into this relationship in the first place? And that's where, like you said, where you talked about that reckoning, I think that's really where it comes to, of us saying, like, listen, I have to freely give you this thing that you need from me, recognizing that this is a part of the dance that makes intimacy happen for both of us, not for one of us, but for both of us. So when you tell me, like I got told the other day, that I'm not doing such a good job meeting an emotional needs, and I'm like, what you talking about? I'm like, I'm needing, what are you, like, you have to adjust, like, okay, let me step it up, because this is a need, and I got a part of my responsibility when I signed up to do this was that I was going to be a part of helping meet this need. So okay, and you just have to figure that out.
So for the purpose of this question, because it says for women, research says that the division of chores, the balance of power, it doesn't even mention what the home situation is like. It doesn't mention if both are working, if it's a traditional she's home, he's gone. It doesn't even mention that. So from the basis of just the division and balance of effort is what that sounds like. Just overall effort and input. We're both doing work, an equal amount of work, and we both got an equal amount of input. That's where I get from power, meaning I got to say, you got to say, we're going to figure it out in balance to come to a shared understanding. Divided chores. We got this amount of thing. We split that shit down. We split it down the middle. I'm not going to sip my wine anymore. We're going to split that thing down the middle, and then this work gets done. Yeah. That, to me, seems to make sense. Like, I can understand how this research, even though not cited, it just seems like that makes sense. And I can see where it could create some confusion or frustration in those that it doesn't really speak to, if you're on the side that you don't agree that things should be balanced and divided and equal between the two. I can see where that might raise some red flags for you, but at the bare bones of what's being asked here, like, I don't see how this was like groundbreaking or even worthy of having research done on it. Like I was thinking,
Yeah, I think I just think they put that just to make it sound official.
but I mean, but
Yeah.
even but people we talk about this like they act like it. It's stated like it's this new, and that's why I asked the question. Like, is this due to now that women are working and all of the transitions that I mentioned before, or have women always wanted to have more balance in the life, especially when there was the expectation of this on-demand enthusiastic sexual engagement to happen simply because woman and man. Like I that's kind of where
Good question. I actually think, I don't know when it started. I can't say, I don't know if women always wanted it, but I do think that women have always wanted equity. Now, I think that the idea of like splitting everything 50-50 is typically not a thing. But I think when you look at the overall context of the relationship, that equity is somewhat evenly split. So I think part of the problem is on the one hand, you have ladies who felt like they weren't getting it, and now that there is a demand for it, it's met with the resistance from men who also are trying to understand this idea of, as the man, I'm still the leader. And so how am I supposed to lead if there's this? And I don't, and to be honest, I really don't think that that's what women are saying in general. I don't think women are saying, I want to compete for headship. I think women are saying, I want my voice to be heard. And I don't want to be seen as a commodity that is used to clean your house, give you some sex, and shut up. I think that's more of what's being said. But we also have to acknowledge, because of the shifts in culture, because of the economic shifts, because of workforce things, because of just in general, that now that looks different when I'm trying to be the head, but I'm also the house husband. Like that's a weird feeling too. And because I know a couple of house husbands, and the one thing that they will all tell me is, I need to be around doing man stuff because a lot of my life I don't feel like I'm the man. And so I think there's this competing, even though they recognize what they're doing is the right thing for their family, it's still the idea of, how do I balance this feeling that I'm the woman in the relationship because I'm doing.
Do you think their women make them feel that way, or is that something that they carry because of the reversal? Do you think that's something that their women are also feeding in them?
So of the 5 that I know, I'd say 2 is because of the women and 3 is because of them. And no, let me return back. 2 is because of the woman and them, and the other 3 is them.
Okay.
Because I think where it comes down, where the problems that I've seen is usually like in normal day-to-day stuff, it's not an issue. Like there are moments where it's like, sucking it up, I got this. But when it comes time to make a decision that we disagree on, then is the default now, but I'm the one who makes the money, so I'm the one that gets the final say, versus, but I'm still the head of the house as the man, and so I get this final. I think that's where the friction comes in, because now it's not about, we can't come to an agreement on.
It's not about the leadership; it's about the balance ledger, as opposed to who might be actually more equipped to make this decision, or might have the better option. Because like if it's a matter of, I think we should do this versus I think we should do that, and the answer comes down to, well, it's my money, or I make the money, not my money, but it's I make the money, which then to him translates as, it's my money. Like I was right and didn't realize I was right. That's what I meant to say. Because that might not even be the energy in which she's trying to come across, depending on what the situation is, but that's what's heard. So,
and to your question, we also don't necessarily can come to an agreement that you are better for this decision. Like your skill set is better for this decision, because as the man, I'm still the man. So it's not about skill set. It's about, you're taking away my position more so. And again, I'm not suggesting it's right or wrong.
Excuse my eye roll.
No, you're good. and I'm not suggesting it's right, wrong. I'm just telling you this is the struggle.
Yeah.
So like there's and again, it goes back to again, sometimes it's what's said, sometimes it's our ego, sometimes it's cult. Like we could say, but that's just the reality of
No, that's the reality of it. Yeah.
the reality of what it is. So
Mhm.
so I think sometimes it is difficult as a man. But I also tell them like true leadership is being able to say, what you think. Okay, we're gonna go with your decision because you understand this better than I do. To me, that's a leader. Like a leader is not afraid to say, is secure enough to be like, no, I'm not good at this. What you think? Okay, we're gonna go with what you think.
I agree. Yeah.
And I think it's just reframing that that's what leadership looks like, as opposed to having to be the one saying the decision.
Yeah, I think to me, leaders hold the cards and the consequences. Like if we're gonna do like you hold the cards, the coin, and the consequences. You can't put one back, when it doesn't suit you, but hold all the others when it's like that. That to me, no matter what gender the person is, like if you that accountability piece is what holds the. It's not gender based. It's not budget based. Because if you make a lot of money, but you're terrible with it, and you run us into the ground because you don't make good money decisions, are you really a leader, or are you just a good wage earner?
Just a good wage.
You're a good worker. You're good. That doesn't make you a good leader.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's just reality. Without vows and God and all that other stuff involved, like you just don't do this part well. Like you need a different way to do this. You know what I mean? And if you want to eventually become the leader in that situation, you should take the steps to become a better leader. And then that's an easy shift when, proven. That's good. Because I just thought about that from the basics of it. I think to myself, we have this conversation in so many different ways where it seems like, if we're just going to keep it focused on this topic, the women are simply saying, we need this balanced a little bit. I need us to have a little, whether it's money and then emotions, or if, it's always a different variable, group of variables that make this make sense. But it generally boils down to like, we know that this is something that you want. However, it doesn't just happen the way that it's been told. Like this, how the books and the movies and the fairy tales, how we keep getting checked about fairy tales, how women are constantly checked about our delusion with love and romance and how fairy tales work. This is kind of the fairy tale check about how sex works. You know what I mean? Like it don't just show up because male enters the room. Like that's not how that works. And it sometimes creates so much more conversation and confusion than I think should really be necessary when you look at it. No man is gonna go super work all these hours and get no reward for it. That's just basics. Basics. And you tell any man go work, 80 hours and then just be like, thank you. See you next week. They're gonna be like, hell no, you ain't gonna work 40 hours with no and not confirm that you gonna have money to come that next 40. Like that doesn't work. You find that out before hour one gets worked. So like I don't understand how there's supposed to be this. I guess I don't know. I can't even begin to fathom the rationale for it. I've been trying to figure it out for a while. As long as we've been doing this show, we talk to many, many men, pose these questions in many, many ways, and it never ceases to amaze me. Some of the things that are said to make this make sense to me. And it's so simple.
It is. It's. I don't think that I don't think it's the lack of simplicity. I think it is. Yeah, I think that a lot of times it's very. I think what we're doing is we are deconstructing. Like it feels like my masculinity is being deconstructed. And I think that's where it becomes like, again, I think it's just this fight for, I want to be seen as a man. I want to be seen as a woman. And instead of like,
what does being seen like a man look like to a man? What does that look like to men?
I'm going to say unfortunately. I want to say unfortunately. I think a lot of times it's built on power. I think it's really, a lot of times it comes down to power. And so when we so anything that makes us feel weak, submission, anything that's not dominant that doesn't, I think that's what masculinity feels like to us. And so to take that away feels, I mean, you rarely hear somebody talk about the stuff for women, the softness, the beauty of having a man who knows how to be soft. You don't hear dudes talking
But aren't
about
y'all trying to be with women though? Like when it comes to this realm, like who are y'all impressing? Who do you want sex from? So who's really the judge of that masculinity?
We're talking about masculinity to the world. Now, when we at home in the privacy of our bedroom, there's a level of softness that we want to have with you. But my masculinity to the world, which is what we're talking about when we're talking about in the context of relationship and how the world sees me in relationship, is power, is control. It's my woman is happy and protected, and I'm doing all of this, and everybody sees and respects me because of what I'm doing. So that's why we place so much emphasis on the outside look of our relationship instead of doing the work to make sure that the internal parts of our relationship look good.
That's where I think my answer. That's why I asked that question about, because you were like, well, the women say, they want soft and all that other stuff. Like, because in the circle and what we're talking about, like, I think that's what frustrates women. We are in a battle of y'all fighting to show each other y'all are men,
the world,
but then wanting to come home and then.
I'm just telling you, that's how we see it. I'm not saying
okay. That's fair.
See it. It's
the world. So you're showing the world how much of a man you are, but then wanting that same thing to transfer to home, although that could be the complete opposite of what home needs from you. But you still want the reward of all the masculine work that the world has seen to reward you with sex at home. But the home is saying, this is different. Like, I don't need that. I don't understand. That's where
you don't need that all the time.
Yeah, because like it's a complete rejection of those things, because I can't do that and this. And even like there's been some folks who are like rejecting the soft even at home. Like, I'm not gonna do that. That is not man. Like, but I still want all of your woman. You know what I mean? So like that part is what's becoming that's where the pushback comes in, because I can fully understand that frustration with that code switch. You know what I mean? Not a man. I'm not a man, but in many ways, women have a version of that. It's not at all the same, but we have a version of that as well. So I can identify and empathize with that need, especially with the Black man today. There is a different pool for Black men to be the strong, the leader, the this, the that. We're breaking all the curses and reframing all. I get it. That's a lot. That's exhausting. But from the realm of relationships, it seems as though women have been very, in a large way, been very clear, been very transparent, have been on, this is what it looks like. This is what would be nice to have. This would be awesome to have. These things gotta happen. Like, you know what I mean? And for all of these things to continue, like, we got to make some shifts. A little bit effort, baby steps. We're not expecting graduate status, master's level mastery immediately, but I'm going to need to see some movement in this way. And that has become, women don't know their role. Women trying to do too much. They don't know how to be soft no more. They too masculine. They don't know how to be submissive. They don't know their role. Like, the list goes on, because they have said, that don't feel like love the way you think it do. Like, it ain't hitting the way you think it's hitting.
Mm-hmm.
Can we do something different? And like, it's been a mass exodus against all things different. And so now it's like, oh, well.
Because again, and I hear you, but I think again, it comes back to a couple of things. Number one, we don't believe, because whether it's experience or culture or whatever, that's really what you want. Because you are saying that this is what you want, but from other experiences, what you're saying you wanted something else. One part of it. I think the other part of it is, again, is now I, there is the struggle for me to really understand how what you're asking me for equates to what you're saying you really want. Like, so if being soft and being soft with you puts me in position where now you disrespect me because you see me as soft, why would I want to continue to be soft? And I think what happens is, and I'm not suggesting again that every woman does this, but I think that a lot of us have somehow have this experience where we've been asked to be something, to be that, and when it doesn't happen, now it's like, I don't know if I can really be that. And I don't even feel like a man doing this. I don't know if I want to do this no more. And so you're saying that this is what you want, but a lot of us would say, but if this is really what you want, then why don't I get the results that I want from what you're saying that you want? And again, I hear what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing.
No, and
with
I'm
you.
hearing
That's
what
a
you're
lot
saying.
of how we incorporate or how we have experienced this idea of soft and good, and like we're trying to do that. So I think again that's why I said it goes back to us really trying to understand what masculinity looks like. Like I don't think that masculinity has to be always strong. I think there is this healthy balance of strong, strong and weak, and vulnerable as well as powerful that go along with masculinity, just like femininity. I don't think this.
Right.
I think there's just these
Right.
balances that we haven't tapped into and learned how to. And then I think on the flip side, as as a man to a woman, I haven't learned how to fully appreciate, first of all, your journey to try to figure out this balance that you have, and to fully appreciate what you bring in your femininity
Mhm.
and in your what we would call masculine, your masculine. Like I don't
Right.
think that we've done a good enough job trying to balance each other and figure each other out, honor each other as we're going through
I
that.
agree.
So we're just like, no, too hard. No, too soft. No, you were
Mhm.
supposed to protect me there. No, you were supposed to be soft here. And we
Right.
like, well, hell, I don't know what you want.
Mhm. And I think, and I do believe that is true. Is true. And I also think this is where our access to so much has done us a disservice.
Absolutely.
Because if I am your woman and you are my man, and you and I have never given you any reason to feel, I've never been disrespectful. I'm not the type that's coming for you. I'm honoring, I'm doing all of those things. And I'm asking for something different. And I think soft always gets a bad. I think gentle is better. Like it's a different way of, because soft gets soft.
Yeah.
That soft
It's
equals
very
weak
bad, but okay, yeah. You're
immediately.
right.
You know what I mean? Like immediately. But that's not even what women want. Women don't want a soft man.
No.
Women are asking for a more gentle, less aggressive, more peaceful approach to her, to the children, to situations, to life. Let's laugh, let's be silly, let's have joy, let's, you know what I mean, let's not take everything so all the time. Like there's a different energy that is being asked from women to be brought back into the homes, is what there's an overall, like last week I bare bones the soft behind the wall type thing, like that low key is what that feels like. There is a request for everything to get gentle, softer, so that we follow the lead of you. So if you're all here, in a lots of ways, it's hard for us to be that release for you,
Mhm.
because Just like we set the tone for the home, you want to come home to a warm, hey, baby, you want me to take your coat? Here's your beer. Dinner's in the oven. We're on the way. Like, you need all of that. But if you come home and then she's also been, and like, because we realize in a lot of ways we're fighting similar battles in lots of ways. So there's a similar tension that's being held for everybody. So the request for gentle, the request for calm, the request for patience, that's not for necessarily for the world. We're hoping that the difference that is made here can hopefully trickle out to the world a little bit, but we focused on the four walls that we can control right now. You know what I mean? But if I've never given you that reason to doubt that I'm going to show up for you, that part of you could be safe with me, that it's going to be worth it for you, I'm going to produce the energy and the peace that you would imagine would be on the other side of this new thing.
Yeah.
There's this thing against even the willingness to try it. No, you ain't gonna have me out here like, no, I ain't gonna be out here. No, if they find out, no, see, because then that one time I do the thing, then, you know, like, come on now. But you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, if leaders, like, we can't, it's a whole lot of weight that comes with that leader role. And we hold a lot of tantrum energy around actions asked of leaders. It's very situational. And if only these wonderful things line up in the way that they're supposed to, then I'll lead. That's not how I thought it worked.
No. But I
also know that leadership within the realm of relationships, you sign up for that. So like, everybody's here by choice, but like from the basis of the thing, like, you're supposed to be the trailblazer, the adopter, the willing to, I'm gonna do the thing so that we can do it. I'll cover that before we all got it. Like, so from a woman's perspective, to see these conversations be at the basis of it sounds fear-based, understanding the fear, but at the same time knowing what the reward could be if we tried. What could that shift be like if we tried? Because we're making the decision to not even try based on what could have been the very worst case scenario of being gentler to the people that we say we love and want to offer themselves up in the most vulnerable way possible.
Yeah. I think we also have to, I agree with you. So two things. I agree with you. I think we also have to, number one, I don't want to use the word, how do I say that? Like, I don't want to use the word apologize, but almost call the fact that being asked to do that in the past might have been harmful for you. Call it a thing. Like, okay, I get that. And so I know what I'm asking you to do in the past has not been something that has worked out well for you, but I'm asking you to do it because I'm telling you I need it, and B, I'm not going to respond in the way that either I have responded previously or that somebody else responded like that. So I do that. And then the other thing I'm going to say is that if you choose to be with someone, it's a choice. If you choose to remain in a relationship with somebody and they're asking you to do that, and there has been a violation, you have to be able to articulate that this is why it's difficult, and give them the opportunity to say, okay, I get it. Now I know how to respond in care, so that when you do this, I can understand why is difficult. I can love the fact that you tried even more because I recognize the difficulty, but you gotta try. Because it's first of all, it's not healthy for us, just like it's not healthy for you. And to the initial post, it takes away from the fullness that intimacy is supposed to bring. Because even though in most instances men want sex more, not all the time, but in general, men might want sex more and women might want non-sexual intimacy more. The reality is we both want good sex, and and we both want really good non-sexual intimacy
That's
because
it.
when you experience it, you're like, "Ooh, that felt good. I want some more of that." And that's both of us in both areas.
Yep.
So I think we have to, because now, and then now intimacy again becomes not just a sexual experience, but it becomes a mental, an emotional, a physical, an all-consuming experience that you share with somebody who you have intertwined with on all of those different levels, and now it becomes not just a duty, but it becomes an experience and it becomes fun.
Right. I'm so connected with you in all these other places. Like, that's missing. I need that part now to finish this. Like, that's where that type of, oh my God, rip your clothes off upon entry, because like all of these other things are so in sync. And even in sync does not mean in perfect harmony at all times.
Right.
In sync means even in the midst of us not really aligning, we find our way back. It's important for us to do what's necessary to get back right. That's the in sync that keeps that lust and that desire, that want, that young thing, that fan feeling alive for both men and women. I believe that desire to be connected, and then that in sync of connection, that okay, this is my person, this person gets me, I want to get them, like that there is a quest to not only learn but to be with, like in all ways. And that is honestly what I think men want, which is the deepest level of intimacy, but we connect with the most basic level of that physical, and we're missing all that other part of it. Like that's the main unlock, the level unlock that we're trying to get to. But I'll settle for this. And like we gotta stop in ways settling for just the touch as opposed to that full on contact. There's a difference between making a touch for a thing versus having contact with the thing. And I think sometimes we're satisfied with just the touch versus making that full contact with a person. And they're two different things. They're very different things.
You got me thinking now, but we ain't got time.
Yeah, I know.
I'll say, because what you just said, that I thought I agree with it, but I thought, well, but do I agree with it in the sense that it's because the part of you calling it the most basic thing.
I mean, like the just man-woman connection, the simple act of sex, as opposed to having that full-on. Because you get satisfaction from that, but you can't tell me that's
not even so much just the satisfaction of it, but I'm thinking about, because for us, and I don't know, I'm processing this.
Yeah,
because
sure.
of the way we enter into intimacy. If we enter into intimacy easier through the connection of sex, whereas, again, speaking in general, that ladies in general enter in easily through the mind, to call it basic, is that for us the way we see it, if this is the way that we enter into it easier?
No, I'm glad
you're saying, but I don't know.
I'm glad you asked that, because I don't want to reduce the physical connection of sex. Right. That's not what I'm trying to do. I was comparing the basic physical connection of just man, woman completing the act. I was comparing that to the comparison of the syncing on all levels and what that feels like in comparison to just having sex with any old body, or a very just a non-intimate, I don't really know you that much, not trying to get to know you that much, you my boo, you my dude, okay, we cool. There's a difference in that type of relationship and the sex that they have, as opposed to the couple who is intentional about connection and intimacy, and when they come together and make love. That's different. That's what I meant by that. I was not reducing how important sex is for men, or how that is their primary connection point, because I completely agree with that. I don't find any fault in that.
It just made me what it really made me think about is what would happen, again, different discussion, different show, but what because for a lot of we talk about, like, even if we're talking about like cheating or something, how you
Mhm.
typically are going to find women would be more lean more to the emotional cheating, because so would we say the same thing about that, as opposed to, like, do we see the missing aspects of intimacy if the emotional aspect is there but the others aren't, just like we would say if just the sexual aspect but the emotional and the others weren't? And so my mouth
I
is
think
going,
some would. Depends on who you're
yeah,
talking to. But
yeah,
yeah, that's something we should
yeah,
absolutely dig into.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
So we'll keep that one.
Mhm.
Okay, we gotta go.
Yeah.
Good show. I
Filled
really
it up
thought
anyway, didn't we?
this was gonna be a quick one, but I guess not. Huh. But really good show, really good content. For all of our new people, I saw several people who were at the conference
Yes.
here today, so it's good to see you all.
Welcome.
A couple of days, so welcome. Hope you guys enjoyed yourself. We got a couple of new podcast people who we're gonna have on. We have the Let's Rap podcast guys here at the conference. We're gonna get them on because they're pretty dope guys. So we want to. I think we can rap too as well. So it's two men talking about relationships on their podcast. So yeah, so I'm very.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's
We
do it.
definitely have them on, and we'll go on there as well. So yeah, good show. Good conversation as always. Thank you for always digging. I definitely appreciate that. Thank you for everybody who's always here. Y'all know if you didn't hit the share button, or if you watch this on the replay, if you have comments, please put those in the comments. We'll be back next week for another great show. I'm about to pack this bag and get in the bed. I got like 4 hours now. I gotta get up.
In the bed.
I got 4 hours.
Lay your clothes out like first day of school type stuff. So you can get
That
up.
one, I
slide
did a
in.
pack. That's done.
Okay.
I did a pack. So
There you go.
whew, I see y'all
Throw
later.
it in the bag.
I'm not throwing my suit in no bag. I'm gonna lay that little.
Okay, but get it in there and zip
Yeah.
that.
That joint right by the door. Y'all have a good night. We'll see y'all next week.
Fly safe, bro.
Thank you.